All
And
right.
I will switch this over to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole, great, you came on.
Hi, everyone.
Blythe, I just quickly want to introduce you to the people that are here, which is everybody except Paul. On my left is Bill, Bill Maltby, who is the present tree warden, and to my right, you can see me Shirley Krasinski, who has done a lot of work in town on a variety of causes. Pat Neary, who she and others have worked so hard in terms of keeping the NIP clean and not too much development. Unfortunately, not what she wants. And Nicole, of course, has just been wonderful in terms of bringing Bridgewater back into becoming a tree city. I mean, she's done all the legwork, literally all the legwork for it, and we hope to continue that. So that's the group, Dawn, and excuse me, Blythe. And if you want to take charge of things right now before we do other business, feel free.
I did. And sorry to jump in on your meeting, but when I realized you were having it, it was perfect opportunity. Myself and Paul met with Bill. Hey, Bill.
Right.
A couple weeks ago, just talking about the tree warden. And so doing a little research afterwards, I stumbled upon the fact that in our administrative code, it says that the tree warden is elected, which is not what everyone thinks it is. So when it's very clear to the town clerk that the only elected positions in town are the town council, the school committee, and the library trustees, and the town clerk, not anybody else. So we put together an ordinance to change it from elected to appointed, and that's going to get introduced on the council's agenda next Tuesday night, just so we can correct this. So when we want to go forward, because Bill says he doesn't want to stay forever and ever, that we are not having to stumble over trying to deal with an elected position when it truly was intended to be appointed.
I believe that ordinance will also allow us to bring somebody in from the outside as a expert on the committee, since we can't get anybody in Bridgewater.
So those are two separate, distinct things. The makeup of the committee is different than who serves as tree warden.
I understand that, yeah, but my question is, assuming that both are going to be approved, does it go into effect immediately, or is there another process after that?
So it would, I forget how many days after an ordinance is approved it takes before you can act on it. I want to say it's 30 or 45. I have to double check. But it will take a couple of meetings to go through the process with the council to get it changed, and then it goes into effect some number of days after that. And it's silent about where the person, for this perspective of the tree warden specifically, it doesn't specify that they have to be a resident, because
Right.
that gives us latitude, whether it's bringing in somebody who's an expert who can just do it on a very part-time basis, or it's a resident who wants to fill that role. It could be either one.
My understanding originally that it was being written that it would be a non-resident if we could not find somebody as a resident. Not that we had the
do you mean that the person you want to serve on your committee?
Yes.
So that's different, and that was changed. That was.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So that's in the administrative code to change, to allow a arborist, someone with that background, to be who does not have to be a resident.
Right.
So.
Okay.
So I was just focused on the tree warden itself,
Yeah.
because I was trying to move along with what we were going to do, because like I said, Bill doesn't want to stay forever and ever.
Right.
So we needed to fix the fact that it says elected and it's meant to be appointed. So I've dived into that, and that's what's being introduced on Tuesday night. The change to the code to allow the person on your committee to be a non-resident is also already been introduced and is in play.
Right. I'm sorry for confusing.
It's okay.
assuming that it passes then, what's the next step in terms of the tree warden?
So I know that you put forward an idea to bring on a full-time person. We haven't jumped into the FY26 budget yet, but we will be right after the holidays. I can tell you I'm not feeling confident that we'll be able to really think about adding any full-time positions next year, or if we do, it's going to be lucky to be one or two in a department here or there. So I think we're going to have to be creative about whether how we improve the amount of effort we put into, working on our tree inventory, working on dealing with the utility companies when they call, making better decisions about trees. We're going to just have to figure out a different way to up our game in that area and work towards, it'd be lovely to reestablish a forestry department, but I think it's going to take a few years, is my humble opinion. It's just that, it's just budgets are very tight. So
Is there a possibility of sharing a tree warden with another town?
we can try. We're not opposed to that idea either. I think we have to put all the ideas on the table and see what would work best. So that's why we had Bill in to chat and just give us some his thoughts on it. And we'll continue conversing with you guys about it, and talking to area towns and figuring out what resources are out there in order to make a decision that will help us, like I said, move forward.
Okay. Do any of you have questions for Blythe? Nobody? Whoa. You're not going to get a hard time, I guess.
Well, like I say, I'm just starting out with dealing with the paperwork, if you will, to at least to cure this one thing. I actually saw Michael at the topping off ceremony for the fire station, and I asked him about this. He said, "I thought we changed it." I said, "Well, guess what? We didn't. So now we are. We're going to fix it and move forward."
Okay, so in effect then, what we're changing is simply the tree warden from elected to appointed position.
Correct. We're literally changing one word.
Okay. Anything we should be doing, do you think, in terms of moving
No,
this
I think it's
along?
going to be pretty straightforward for the council. I don't see this being an issue that people will be concerned about, because I think everybody does know that we want to try to, put more effort into what we do about trees. So this, having it continue to be an elected position and trying to fill that, it would just be extremely difficult, I think.
Right.
So this makes just a lot of sense.
So if Bill were to resign tomorrow, we would not have a tree warden. Official.
Correct.
Hmm.
So I think in deference to Bill, we need to we want to keep, making progress on this so we can get to whatever we're going to do next in life.
Well, you're not getting your money's worth out of me.
It's because you're free.
Well,
We're grateful for his service, and we don't want to burden him any longer than we have to, so we're working on it.
Sure.
all right, I guess my feeling is like, we would obviously, I think, I'm speaking for the committee, and we one of the, if not the priority of this new committee is to have a tree warden. I think, again, from my perspective, is that I understand the budget aspect, but I think we all want to see some progress or some movement in the next few months, that we can at least hope that we'll get a tree warden at some point into the next year, ideally. I mean, it seems to us, I believe, that the tree warden is essential in terms of the town for a number of aspects, and that we really need a person on board. And if it means sharing it, even 1/3 of the time or something like that, I think it's better than nothing. So.
I hear you loud and clear, and it's a priority for us to get this on a new track. I just, as I sit here today, I can't promise you what exactly it will look like, just that we see it as a priority too, and we are working on it.
All right, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
If I can, just while you're here, we did submit a new tree ordinance in August.
Okay.
Do you have any idea where that's going? If it's
I'd have to check with Debbie. I don't know where that stands.
okay,
She's
All right.
out today, but I will follow up with her when I'm back in the office on Thursday.
okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you showing up at our meeting too.
Well, like I said, I don't usually just invite myself to things. My mother would be
I
unhappy
know.
with me for doing
You
it.
don't have, you invite yourself anytime you want, believe me.
But when I saw you, when Dawn said you're having a meeting, I'm like, oh, I was gonna get a hold of Ray anyway, so this is perfect.
We have very nice people here, so I
Yeah, I
think
can
you'll
see
enjoy
that.
coming to our meetings whenever you feel like it. And if we ever meet in person, which we would like to, maybe we'll have cookies too or something like that.
Ooh, all right, I'm in.
All right. Thank you, Blake.
Yep,
Thank
have a
you.
great day.
Okay, you do.
Yep, bye.
Well,
That's not encouraging.
no, I wasn't encouraged at all. No. No. It
It was until when I read this document, I thought, wow, maybe we're getting somewhere, and apparently not.
Hmm.
I think I think she's being straightforward with us. My impression of her is that she's not beating around the bush. I think the bottom line for us is lobbying the council individually and as a group that one thing that you might want to consider is coming to the meeting on Tuesday and saying something about it. I'll be there and I will, but I think just the council needs to be aware that we're concerned about things and that if you could, that might help. I don't know what to say.
Hmm. So that
All right,
doesn't
let me
sound like,
officially start the meeting and then we can talk about this. Meeting's already in order. They need the approval of the November 14th meeting summary. And is there a motion to approve the minutes of the November 14th meeting? A motion?
Motion to approve the minutes of the November 14th
Motion's
meeting.
been made. Is there a second? That's
I wasn't in attendance.
Oh, okay. Shirley? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. No public comment. Tree ordinance, we already, we know. We did submit it. Oh, by the way, I just want to make a statement to all of you. I want to apologize for not keeping up with things this last month. I don't know why. Maybe it's my age or just my fleeting mind. I don't know what it is, but I really let things go and I apologize. I'll try not to let that happen again. So the tree ordinance, I did mention it to her. I did email her before about it, and I'm not sure where that is going. She did say she would check on it, so we'll see what happens. And on that point, please, somebody correct me. I screwed up. Did we not approve the tree mitigation, Nicole, that you had worked on at the last meeting? We did we not?
Yes, we did. We approved, and I sent the final version, I believe immediately after the meeting, or circulated to our
Yeah,
group.
and in going over this, I said to myself, I sent that mitigation into Blythe. And I looked at my thing I have under this committee and I can't find it.
Okay.
Please, today, Nicole, send it to me again and I'll send it to Blythe just to make sure she has it. And I'll send it out to the group too, just to make sure we're all on the same boat, okay?
Thank you.
Now, the draft the recommendations though that I sent were the tree mitigation formula. Is that
Right.
for Blythe's review or is that
Right,
really
right.
for the planning board?
Well, I believe again, I'm just thinking back to what I remember. I believe I said I would send it to Blythe to decide whether it should go just to the planning board or also to zoning. Because
Okay.
there is a line in zoning on tree mitigation now. It doesn't specify how to do it. It just says that there could be tree mitigation.
Okay,
So why don't you send it to me again and I'll send it out back to Blythe because I probably screwed up on this.
okay,
Apologize, okay? Just send it to me and I'll send it out to everybody and to Blythe again. All right?
okay. Yeah, it was November 12th.
Okay,
Was
yeah.
the
that
date
was
of
the
our meeting. Yep. Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Yep. So I had one that was called mitigation recommendations final draft, and I had sent you a meeting like right after we got off the call, just
Right.
find the final draft as approved today. So
It was my fault.
yeah. No, that's okay.
No,
I
no,
just
it's not okay. All right. Why are you speaking? How about Tree City? How are we doing on that, Nicole?
good. I should be in the next probably week or so be ready to call Paul and just check in on a few of the final budget items, and then I'm gonna like kind of circulate a draft just to make sure that I am not missing anything. I might just have a few questions. I probably should have asked Blythe if there's any, because I believe she will need to sign it. I probably should have checked in about her, availability through in the next couple weeks, making sure she'll be around to sign it.
All right, when you send it to me, I send to her, I'll remind her that
Okay.
okay.
Says you
Okay.
might need to sign some final paperwork for our Tree City USA application.
All right, if in any case, if it gets to Josh, he'll make sure she signs it.
Oh
He's
yeah,
good at-
yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Okay, that's
So
great.
we're okay. You got the pictures I sent you?
Yes,
Yep. Okay.
thank you.
Okay, good. Anybody else on that at all? Oh, I emailed Josh a while back and I forgot again about the
The
trees,
signs.
the signs. And he said that he asked Paul to get the signs and he was going to check with Paul as to whether they ordered.
Oh,
And
okay.
again, I forgot that. I'll check on that again.
Okay.
Because I know we approved monies to buy the signs for
Yeah.
okay, I'll check with Paul. All right. Um the recommended tree list, we approved that, did we not? I believe we did.
Yeah, that was some time ago.
Pardon me? Oh, Bill?
Yeah, wasn't it? That was some time ago that we approved it.
Right, I think we're all set on that, yeah.
Right.
I sent
Okay.
Pat some ideas, new ideas, to add to that list at some point.
Well, why don't we do this? I'll send out the list that I have, which I think is the final copy to you. And
Good.
at the next meeting, we could just make sure we're still on the same boat with regard to that tree list, okay?
I thought you sent that to the planning board, Ray.
Yeah, I know. I did, no, wait a minute. I did send the list to the planning board. That was a
Oh.
while back. And
Right.
they changed the list. But
Oh,
I
they,
thought we went through another process of modifying the first list we changed. No?
I don't know.
Okay. Let me check on that. That's my fault. All right. My thinking about this is that we have moved along, we have accomplished some things, I believe. But I think as some of you pointed out, we really need to reach out to the public more and get more information out to them. That people know we exist and that we can make recommendations to people about a variety of things, planting and so forth. I'd like to do another forum. If for one thing, if you guys are willing to do it. Is there any feeling about that? Sometime we did, I think the last one was in March or April. Maybe we can do another one in March or April. is that, is that open? Are we open to that?
Sure.
Anybody?
A pretty good attendance at the last one, didn't you?
Yeah, it was good attendance.
Yeah.
It seems to me we should be doing these yearly. And as a one way of getting outreach, but there may be others, and I think we need to think about. Let me give you an example, another side comment. I've been, for a variety of reasons, I've been going to town council meetings. And 2 meetings ago, I went and I stayed for 3/4 of the time, then I left. And Chris, my wife, stayed, and she said that that the Mary McGrath, one of the counselors, had mentioned something about tree presentation, so forth, and I wasn't sure what she had said. So at the last meeting, I did go up to her and I asked her what she was interested in having us make a presentation to the council on the tree.
I think she meant you.
No, I'm just saying that I think if there's a possibility, we should always jump on any
Oh, sure.
any way we can make connections with the council or to the public and so forth. So if you want, I'll talk to her again about whether she makes a motion to the council that they invite us to speak about what we're doing. And I think that's one way. But the other thing is just to the public, and I just like you to think about it. So maybe we can, next year, we can be more aggressive in terms of getting our thoughts out to the public. For instance, when there's things like Autumn Fest or the Christmas on the Common, maybe we should have a little booth, I mean, a little table, tree committee with information about what we're doing, things like that. Because I'm sure there are a ton of people that just have no idea we even exist. And
True.
as Shirley argued, that we should be telling people what they can do and what they can't do with trees. And just that information itself should go out there. So I thought if you just think about, that.
I was at a Concom meeting a while ago, and they brought up a request that was made to them for topping trees down on Water Street. So there is a procedure in place where you have to go to the Concom, and it had nothing to do with us. And I don't know if there's a conflict or we're just following two different paths. I mean, I think the fellow that was going to top these trees suggested that they go to the Concom, but we don't have anything to do with that, even though we're trying to control those things. So
What are you saying?
I'm saying, what do we do about that?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
What do you mean by topping trees? What were they talking about doing?
They were going to top several trees down on Water Street because the homeowner wanted it. And that's when the arborist or the tree feller said, you should check with your Conservation Commission. Now, I don't know what their procedures are, if they check with Paul to see if the trees are town trees, or I just don't know enough about it. And I don't think anybody else does either.
Sounds like that's tree warden type.
Yeah, absolutely right,
Yeah.
Ray. It falls right into the
Yep.
purview of the tree warden. Years ago, I would get a call if someone wanted to do work on a town tree, and I'd go out and look at it and give my opinion or my approval.
Maybe they were private trees, but how do we know any of that?
Oh, we could decide whether they're street trees or not.
Well, you have to be aware of it, and they didn't reach out to our tree warden, just the
Yeah,
Concom.
that's a perfect example of
Yeah,
procedure. Bill, do you get calls to do things like that at all?
No, I haven't got it. It's been years actually since I've been called out to look at anything aside from National Grid.
You know, that's a perfect example of how one board, one agency is not talking to others.
Mhm.
You know, it sounds like people don't even realize that trees are protected and that we have some say in whether they're cut down or whatever, you know?
Well, when we had that tree cut on Conant Street, you know, the big tree, Bill, I reached out to Paul just because it was a question whether it was a town tree or my tree. And it was determined that it was a 50-50. And then National Grid took it down, fortunately.
It seems that's what's happening is I mean, we have so many trees coming down because they are unsafe.
One
And
second.
then we are definitely not replacing them.
I don't know what to
Yeah.
do. So I guess we have to get
I'm
our
gonna be on mute.
procedure
Okay,
out
thanks.
there, just
bye.
our procedure, once we have it established. So that people know who to reach out to. And that's what Ray was going to check on with Paul, to get our procedure, and it would have to be done with Bill's input.
Well, you know, it sounds like there's no town procedure. I mean, Paul is highway, but he's not the final say in what's being done. We don't, I mean, it should be the tree warden, I would think, in terms of whether trees are gonna be cut down or not
Yeah.
Paul.
Sure.
I know Paul had to go to engineering to determine whether it was a town tree, because all the streets are different. It's not, you know, just one method for the whole town. You know, I used to think it was so many feet from the center line, but apparently it's not, right, Bill?
No, it's
No.
not, you're right, you're right, it's where the right of way falls.
Mm,
Sometimes that can go way into a front yard and other times it's right at the edge of the road.
Yeah, so it's very complicated. We'll have to try to work out the procedure.
Well, Bill, wait a minute, isn't, if you know the street, wouldn't you know what the procedure is? In other words, I remember I told you that I had a dead tree for years in front of our house. And I mentioned to a zoo, this was years ago. And he finally came by and he walked it from the center line and he said it's a town tree. But he based it on Aldridge Road.
He
And
must have known what the right of way with the total right of way of Aldrich Road is.
Right,
But
that's what I'm,
what Bill's saying, like sometimes they have built out the whole right of way, so the sidewalk extends all the way to the edge. But sometimes, like for example, like Auburn Street, there is no sidewalk, but the right of way goes into people's what would look like their front lawn. Because
Mhm.
it's different on there is a set right of way for the roads, but the average person wouldn't know if it's 30, 45, 60, 75. Um,
who would know?
Engineering, they would need to look at the survey maps, mapping of the I guess parcel mapping of the town, which shows the right of way. It shows where the town, it's not going to show you the tree though. That's the problem. It's
Right.
usually you can use like GIS and try to overlay things, but there's no central resource for a person to go to do this.
Well, every time I went to the town yard to find out if what the case was like this, they'd say, "Oh, they're all in the maps and they're upstairs, and we haven't seen them for years, and it's much too difficult to bring all those down. So just fake it." So I did.
Fake it. All right, that sounds like something, I'm not sure we agree, we should press. That the town should at least move forward on identifying right of ways on every street in town.
Well,
Sure.
we have to get the procedure down then.
Well, also, one of our initial priorities of the tree committee was to authorize a tree inventory, which
Inventory.
would be an inventory of all public, we could start with the, main streets or whatever, an inventory of public trees. that type of study would do that. You would hire a consultant, they would be able to help determine and then tag and flag and, take an inventory of the trees.
Well, it's interesting you say that because my understanding was that Councilor McGrath had sort of implied that. And when I went up to talk to her, it was literally under a minute that I spoke to her. I mentioned that to her, that one of our many priorities was an inventory, but that it would cost money to do. And,
Mhm.
she understood, but I don't, she had no real opinion at that time. But maybe that's something we should press, an inventory. Yeah. Do you have any idea what it would cost, Bill? Something like that?
Oh, Lord, no. Probably $25,000 or something around that number. At
So I
least.
guess we say, well, what do we want? Tree warden or inventory?
But if you have your inventory, that in one hand, but no tree warden to enforce it or even look at it, you gotta go with the tree warden first.
Okay. It sounds like,
Right.
that we're in worse shape than we thought we were in terms of trees.
Uh,
Well, we're doing a lot more now than we were doing 10 years ago, but it's all through the highway department.
All right. All right, so I guess what we're saying is we want to press the tree warden. Right?
Good, yeah.
All right, why don't we? On bureaucracies are bureaucracies, and my feeling, based on history and the present, is that the only way we're going to get what we want is to pressure people, and that's by lobbying people. And I think, writing counselors and so forth, speaking in front of the council, pushing Blythe, to do something and just being, at some point, just being annoying. We're not going away.
Doesn't sound like we're ever gonna get a bucket truck.
I don't know.
I
Maybe,
actually, I mean, I guess I feel like we need, I know it's like the chicken and egg, but I feel like we need the tree warden first, because at the very least, couldn't they continue to contract out
Absolutely.
companies that have equipment that can cut trees, plant
Yeah.
trees, and do whatever we need, but it's like we don't have anyone to direct to decide when something has to go and where, how to replace and all of that. So it seems like Paul doesn't have the resources he needs, either from, a person to advise and actually the people to do the work, but the second part can be contracted out.
I think Paul mentioned at one point to me that the position for a tree person is in his budget. It's just that it's never been filled, so he's been using the money for other things.
Hmm,
I could ask him again.
hmm.
I think
Yeah.
you're right. There's something there.
So what are you saying? What do you want to do? You want to press the tree warden, right? That's the issue. That's
Yeah,
what we want.
whatever way we have to do it, yeah,
Whatever way, Pat.
yeah. I mean, through Paul or town manager, etc. If it's in Paul's budget, I mean, that's an easy answer if we could find one.
All right, I think speaking in front of the council is one thing. We could email counselors on our own individually.
Okay.
What else? How else do you want to go about it?
Well, that sounds like a good start.
Well, we may have to work on a number of fronts. I mean, Pat, your committee on the NIP is a perfect example of a group that's done their research and they keep pressing things. I don't know, maybe, we can think of some ideas that we could do. We've got to get a tree warden next year. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I mean, I think, if I'm convinced that if the powers that be want to put in a tree warden, they will find the money for it. It's just convincing people to do it. And when you talk
Mhm.
about trees, I mean, they think about, you know, picking up trash or something is more important than trees. I mean, trees, I'm sure are not high priority for
Yeah.
people.
Hmm.
Maybe we have to do more convincing in the importance of trees and taking care of them.
Yeah, it's like some people don't think anything of climate change. I mean, that's the way they think about trees, you know,
Right.
they're there. What
Right.
yeah.
Why don't, if you, agree, why don't I go back to McGrath again? I don't know her, but I don't know. And just say, we would like to make a short presentation. Can you get us on the agenda?
Mhm.
Would you agree?
Sure, good idea, especially where she's asked. That'll give us some coverage, some exposure.
Okay.
Mhm.
And also, think about other ways besides a forum, how we can approach the public, how we can get things across to them. That's really important, I think. I mean, the more we get, the more public support, the more we're apt to get the council to move too. So think about that. And do we agree on a forum? Is that okay with people?
Sure.
What month?
Okay with me.
Did we do March last time, Bill?
Yeah, we started January and had to put it off. And put it off.
I thought we actually did it in March.
We did,
Yeah,
we did.
that's a good month, isn't it? Don't you think?
It's good for me. I'll be in Florida for 3 months.
Ooh. When will you be back?
May 1st.
All right. No, that's not good. Um, why don't
We need a tree warden.
No, I know, why don't we do this? Why don't, if you give me the authority, why don't I set a date with Jed at the library and just reserve a day? Is that all right?
Sure.
And I believe we did Tuesday. Okay,
Mm,
I think he wanted a Tuesday for whatever reason. Why don't we set a Tuesday in March? And then we fill in what we need. We can get, we had two good speakers last time. We get, either both of them again or one of them, maybe somebody else. And, we can put our ideas out too about, I know Shirley's always wanted to press the point that people should know the laws regarding trees.
true.
Let's do it, okay? All right, okay, I'll see Jed about setting a March date for a forum.
Try
Okay.
not to have it conflict with town council.
Ah, you're right, we did last time. Okay, so it'd have to be either the second or fourth of month. Good point, Pat. Okay, anybody else?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes.
yep, go ahead, Shirley.
What I also think,
Can't hear you now, Shirley.
can you hear me now?
Now,
Yes.
yeah, now I can.
I also think,
Now we can't. Can't hear you, Shirley.
okay, I'll send an email, a
All
text
right.
out,
Okay, all
all
right,
right?
yep.
Mm.
You want to try to go back to in person or no?
No, I think I've got a problem here and I can't figure it out.
Yeah,
Good now.
We could
Is it
hear
on-
you there, yeah.
Okay, what I was thinking is that perhaps because it's going to be in March, we might put together a little planting guide, because that's going to be around the time when people will be buying and planting trees. And if we give them a little page, planting guide of how to plant a tree and how to take care of it during the first 2 or 3 years, it might be something that we can,
yeah,
and
we
right
have
out.
one. We gave it out last time. I still have a stack of them in
Right.
the house. We have, the thing is DCR guide. I'm not sure if DCR or tree or whatever it was, but I have a stack
We
of them.
handed it out at the forum.
Yeah, we have them. Yeah, Well, that's
Um,
good. That's just the
Anytime we
thing.
get a chance,
I'm sorry?
yeah.
I think we ought to hand out planting guides every chance we get.
Yep, yep, I agree. Yep.
I also wondered if there is, if, you know, we are able to plant another tree at some point in a public space, we could turn that into a hands-on, not hands-on forum, but where, you know, we could literally demonstrate how it's done in the field. Have people come and watch and show them what, you know, how Paul kind of explained it to us when we did it during the first time at the softball field. But that was kind of helpful. And then we were, you know, the comment on how to you know, how to do the mulch and all those comments that we talk about verbally may be better for some people are more, you know, hands-on, they want to see it. So that
Good.
could be
Yeah.
something we do.
And that brings up another point, then, Nicole, that we should, it's early, but we should think about where we want to plant more trees next year
Yes.
in the spring, you know.
Yes, and actually the Open Space Committee is thinking about it as well. I brought it up at our last meeting because they have just there's been, you know, there's improvements to some of the new trails and some of the new open spaces in town where there's, for example, been like a little parking area under construction. I thought that those potentially could be some potential places to plant a tree. If there's going to be like a new picnic table or something like that, you know, potentially we could do it in one of those areas, either the one on behind Roach Plaza or up,
Lyman,
yes, Wyman Meadow.
yep.
Yep. So,
Wyman Meadows, by the way, Wyman Meadows is open and it's a
yeah,
nice little place. So,
yes,
yeah,
it is.
if you can find it, that's the hard part.
I know there needs to be some signage. That's a,
No, it's, yeah, yeah. You bring up another point, Nicole. Do you think at some point we should meet with open space? Is
yeah,
that
I think we
whatever?
could have a joint committee. That would be a good joint committee meeting. I think that would be a great idea. I mean, because we're in a similar boat, I think, to our group. We feel like we get in these periods of time where we just feel like we don't, you know, have much momentum. So maybe if we can join forces together, maybe
What
we
is
can
open
make
space working on right now?
a lot of PR actually for the parks and open spaces. We're working on like some videos, which will be informational videos, for example, to educate the public about where our you know these spaces are and what they can be used for. So the video for what's the one up on Summer Street?
Carver's Pond.
Carver's Pond is coming out amazing. So things like that. Had worked on like a brochure at some point, like, you know, updates to the website so that people could know where to park at some of these sites. We've been working with the Wildlands Trust at Wyman Meadow for signage. So there, you know, there is some things behind the scenes too. There's some collaboration with the Hanson property, you know, to potentially talk about ensuring that some of the property can, you know, stay protected.
Mhm.
But
Have a trail,
It's
right?
interesting you say that. I mean, I'm not sure if there was Wildlands Trust. I went on a hike last week or at the area behind the prison. You know what I'm talking about?
oh,
On Summer Street. They,
the new
Kitty
one that they're
Doherty-
gonna,
Kitty
yes,
Doherty works on trails behind the scenes for the last
Yes.
30 years. And they have flagged out a trail along Taunton River.
yes,
And we walked it. There's no trail, it was bushwhacking.
Right.
It was a pain, but we walked it and you know, this town is getting all of a sudden a lot of nice trails.
yeah. There's
Um,
been a lot of grants to pay for those, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I mean, and the group that I wasn't the expert. The group that was with Kitty, these
Yeah.
guys knew their stuff, you know, in terms of plants and everything along the way.
They do.
It sounds like we have all these good groups. They're working individually. That maybe we should start meeting. Nicole, maybe we should meet with Open Space sometime.
I agree. And I follow the West Bridgewater Open Space Committee. They do they do a lot. They do a lot of joint work with Conservation Commission too. I don't think they have a standalone tree committee, but I was thinking we all should meet together. You know, I know Conservation Commission is more as, you know, a ruling body and the other, you know, committees are not. But they still in other towns do kind of participate, I guess, in some of, you know, with some of the other committees for more, I guess, to
Who's chairing?
strategize about, you know, ideas and recommendations moving forward.
Who's chairing open space now?
Yeah,
Who
open
is?
space.
Who's the
Oh,
chair?
Eileen,
Eileen Heine.
Oh, Eileen, okay. I'll email her and see.
Oh
what-
yeah, she would love it. Yeah, we kind of, she's totally open to it, so.
Okay,
I also just wanted to tell you guys, I will have to log off in probably like 4 or 5 minutes to get ready for a work meeting.
we're done.
Okay,
We're done.
all right,
Anybody else? Okay, I will send out a summary of the meeting if
Okay.
if I can read my own notes. And please, when I send it out, correct me because there'll be mistakes. And Nicole, you're gonna send me the mitigation schedule. And
already, yep, I already did. Bill, I might, if you are taking a look at that list of trees again, you might want to just reference the list that we included in the mitigation recommendations. Remember, I had kind of took a stab at pulling together a list of what could be considered native kind of I forget the word we used, not important trees, but
Keystone.
yeah, another word, used another word.
Oh.
Oh, what's my name? My little synonym library. Hold on. We called them significant trees. But
Significant.
either way, yeah, it's the same thing. So we had like a long list that I pulled from some Plymouth County and other resources. However, we did say in the mitigation thing that this is not an exhaustive list. These are just the types of trees to be considered. But I don't know, you might just want to take a quick look at that too if you're looking at lists of trees. I'll forward it to you now, Bill.
Okay. good.
Again, so you have it.
I noticed your cat walk by, Bill.
Yeah, sure, he likes the computer, of course.
And you know, Ray, Claremont is going to be going back to the planning board soon for the landscape plan.
Oh, yeah?
So that should be interesting.
When is it, do you know?
It's not scheduled yet.
All right, if you know, let me know.
Sure.
Okay. All right, anybody else? All right, I'll take a motion to, well, first of all, hope you all have a good holiday. And we'll meet again in January. And
Okay.
think about the forum, about the structure of the forum. I will be between now and January, I'll talk to Jed about scheduling either the second or fourth Tuesday in March for the forum, okay? All right.
Thank you.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? We
Aye.
are- See you in January.
All right, happy holidays,
sooner.
everyone.
Yeah,
Okay.
take it easy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.